So there's the cat. A lot of people wanted to see the cat after her surgery, her unnecessary surgery, which I talked about earlier. I'll cover that in just a second, a little bit. But she went in to get spayed on Friday. This is Wednesday, I guess. Saturday and Sunday was pretty miserable. As a matter of fact, on Sunday, I thought we needed to take her to the vet again. She was going to the bathroom every 30 seconds and wasn't going. And I couldn't get her to drink anything. I don't know why I didn't think of this. Maybe because the vet said I wasn't supposed to feed her anything right away. I gave her water. Normally, I give her chicken broth for her liquids. But I decided to give her water, and she wasn't drinking the water. So I decided to go ahead and give her chicken broth again, even though the vet suggested that we start her out slow with just water. And she lapped up that chicken broth and immediately went to the bathroom. I mean, a good, healthy bathroom. The other problem we have with her is she does not like going number 2 in the kitty litter. She wants to come outside to go to the bathroom. She literally will go to the bathroom in the kitty litter, me out the door to go to the bathroom outside. So, you know, she's got to do both of her businesses. What's really interesting is she'll come inside to go to the bathroom in the kitty litter and then come back outside to do the number 2 business. Finicky cat, I mean, that's okay. I mean, she's really been a real pleasure to us. I didn't want a pet. I'll be honest, we didn't think we needed a pet here. We live in a tiny house. The last cat that showed up was a stray. He was a male, and he was not friendly. Not like her. Never did get petted. He would come around, eat, and then leave again. When we started building the porch here, I was building the porch roof. He came and laid on the bridge. First time he had ever done that. And so I thought he was getting more friendly. I mean, we spent the winter with him, and he was sick, and I didn't know if he was going to make it. He left for the longest time, and then finally came back, just starved to death. We got him all fat, and then he came back, it's just skinny as a rail. Well, then a female come running around here that actually looked like her. It's not her. I don't even think it's her offspring. Well, his offspring. I don't think it's his offspring. But anyway, she came around, and he had to chase after her, and we saw her on the side of the road, ran over. So I would suspect he got ran over also. So when she showed up, it was just another stray. We didn't mind having a stray outside because of the mice. Keeping the rodents and the snakes away is a big deal, especially with this water tank that we have here. They get in there, and I got to use a mouse trap, and they could make their way in the house. Now, we've only had one mouse in the house, and we got him right away with a mouse trap. But with her around, or him, either one, we really haven't had a huge mouse issue. I caught one in the tank the other day, but that's, I think, because she was not here. That mouse got into the corn. You can see he got into the bag, and what he did was he took the corn from the bag and put it into the tank area, which was funny because I was having pump problems, and I thought, boy, I bet we got a mouse in there. Well, I figured it was that mouse that I caught. Figured he chewed on the wires, but it wasn't. It was just a loose connection. It was just strange. Everything happening at once. We have the hole in the bag, corn in the tank, caught the mouse, cat was sick. So I'm glad we got her. And she's been a real comfort, and I try to spoil her rotten. Of course, we give her canned chicken. It's cheaper that way. We give her canned chicken and dry food. Now, the vet says she's a little chunky. I don't know. I think he was just covering his hindside. We took her in to get her spayed, and there are people in the comment section who agree with me that he should have been able to find out that she had been spayed before. But he went ahead and did the surgery and made her, you know, sick for 3 days, 4 days, whatever it was. I really think he should have used a little bit of judgment. We've seen videos online, vets saying that they should be able to catch that she had been spayed. You know, a lot of people in the comment section said there's a tattoo in the ear. That's in Michigan, but here they do the tattoo in the ear. If it's a stray and they catch it and then re-release it, or they actually clip the ear. Either way, she doesn't have a tattoo or a clip or anything. But what's interesting is I really thought when she showed up that she was less than a year old. She was just so small, just tiny. When she got here, she was very skittish. That's why she's called Skitty. So I just thought somebody dropped her off here. the thing is she's here now. She doesn't leave the property. She doesn't go past too much further than our property line. We can always see her over there past our property line. And she sits there by a dead log. I would imagine there's some bugs or mice or something over there that she likes to chase after. Or she's always on the porch. Now, when she first got here, she would go underneath the house and sleep in the heat of the day, and then come back in the evening and lay on the bridge. So I really thought that she was dropped off because she just doesn't leave this area. If she had strayed away from a home, I just can't imagine her straying away from somebody else's home. Now that we know she's been spayed, I'm thinking, well, she must have ran away. Why would anybody spend the money on getting a cat that young spayed and they get tired of her and drop her off around here? I don't know how she ended up here. It's really a mystery, but I'm glad she's here. She doesn't run off. A really good pet, and she keeps the mice away, and she lays up there on the bed with us. We have this little three-way tunnel. Carolyn bought it, and she sleeps in that tunnel unless it's too hot, because of course the house gets pretty hot with the wood stove. And then she goes under the bed, and she's got a crate under there. We took the door off so she can sleep in the crate. So I'm glad that she showed up. We, like I said, spoil her to death, give her canned food, plus the 9 lives. Always leave the 9 lives out. But now the vet said that she might be a little heavy, I'm only going to feed her once a day with the chicken, and we'll leave the 9 lives out. I would like to just give her chicken, because I'm a carnivore. Carolyn and I are carnivores. A cat is a carnivore. But there are a lot of people who say that if you give her straight chicken, she won't get all the nutrition she needs out of the chicken. I just don't see that happening. I'm not sure that's true. I looked it up. These chemicals or whatever it is that the cat needs is in the chicken. But I would rather be safe than sorry and not give her something she needs. So I give her the cat food, but I'm sure the cat food is where she's getting fat from. Cat food has carbohydrates in it. At least this stuff does. Carbohydrates is sugar, which I've talked about sugar. As a matter of fact, one of my subscribers just sent me a guy's video, doctor, and he was talking about how just in the last 2 or 3 years, they've done a lot of studies on carbohydrates, sugar. Sugar's poison. They're learning more and more about it. Carbohydrates is sugar. There are people who will say, no, you can have good carbohydrates and bad carbohydrates. No, there's no such thing as good carbohydrates. It's all sugar, it's all bad. Now, I will admit that processed foods, just like this doctor said, gives you even more poison, because what they're doing is like peanut oil or canola oil. Not only do they take the carbohydrate, which is already poison, then they heat it up, molecular structure of it, and it actually becomes more poison for you. It clogs the arteries, all kinds of things. So I'm a big fan of the carnivore diet. I know there are a lot of people out there who disagree with me. Of course, there's a lot of people out there who agree with me. I'd rather get her off the carbohydrates because it is poison. Now, as far as having a dog for living off grid, the cat is bad enough. I'm going to be honest. I mean, it's something that we have to feed. We have to feed the chickens and now the cat. Now, every time I talk about dogs, people unsubscribe from my channel. It's not that I don't like dogs. I've had dogs all my life. I'm a big fan of dogs. I'm more empathetic to pets than I am humans. So much so that I would prefer not having one, because I can't treat it the way I think a dog should be treated. If I had a little toy poodle or some small dog, perhaps. But the only reason to get a dog here would be to help protect the property from whatever, coyotes or a bear. And so now we're actually making it into a working dog. So it would have to be an outside dog. And I'm just completely against having outside dogs because of my empathy. So that means it's got to come inside. Well, we live in a 200 square foot house. There's barely enough room for me and Carolyn. So now we're going to ask a dog to come into this house. That would be stressful on us, first of all. Carolyn and I have kind of figured out each other's behaviors. I can tell that she's going to go up and do something, or she's going to get in my way if I get up. So we can kind of think about our maneuvering when we go to the bathroom or anything. We're always thinking about each other. So then you put a big dog in place of that, and now that dog has to try to figure out where to go. Well, the dog's just not going to figure it out. So they're just cower in a corner without ever really feeling comfortable in his own home. I've had a large dog before, and a large dog, a big house. I think I had an 800 square foot house, And if he needed alone time, he could go into the bedroom. But here, there's no place for him to go. Every square inch of this house is pretty much utilized. So he would just have to tuck up in a corner somewhere and hope to stay out of the way so he didn't get stepped on. Now with the cat, it's not so bad. Like I said, we have this little tube and it sits on the bed and she sleeps in the tube. And the tube is kind of a T shape. And so we put it at the end of the bed. And so that tube allows us to be able to sleep there without kicking her. But you put a dog at the end of the bed, you wouldn't be able to stretch out. It'd be very inconvenient to have a dog in a tiny house. Now, when she wants to hide, of course, I already said she gets under the bed and goes into her crate. Still pretty small, not too bad. And she does a lot of good things around here. People say that I gotta have a dog to have for the property. She takes care of the snakes and the mice. More importantly, she takes care of the snakes. I'd rather not deal with the snakes. I mean, I'm just not a big fan of snakes. The more I live here, the less scared I am of them. When I first got here, I made leg coverings out of coffee cans. It was a pandemic back then, so we couldn't go out and buy anything. And we didn't have an address at the time, so we couldn't even get Amazon packages here. I made these leg coverings out of coffee cans so I wouldn't get bit by a snake. Well, it's not so bad now. As a matter of fact, I had a snake, a little garter snake, in the water tank, and I picked him up by his tail and was able to throw him out. That is a huge improvement from where I was. But she takes care of all that now, so I don't have to deal with it. And so did that other cat. She's also pretty good at identifying that there's a noise I didn't hear. I wear earplugs at night. So if there's a noise on the porch and she's identified raccoons, she makes this, not a mean thing, but kind of just a noise. And so that wakes Carolyn up. Carolyn waked me up. We had a raccoon out here, so we were able to get that out before it ate all the corn or whatever was on the porch at the time. The other thing that we have to think about is the amount of room it takes to store the food. We currently have two 50-gallon drums to store chicken food, and we still don't have enough room to store food. As you saw, we have the corn up here and mice get into it. So now we're going to add in a 50-pound bag of dog food. So we got to keep that in constant supply and a big stack of. Whereas with the cat food, I think we got a 10-pound bag and it's lasted months already because we also feed her that chicken. So everything has to be considered when you're living in a tiny house. Very happy with the cat. And I'm glad the surgery's over. I wish the vet would have done a better job. We won't use that vet again. Actually, somebody sent me an email and I was really appreciative. She was a vet assistant. And she agreed that the vet should have caught that. A lot of people complained that I should have caught that. I knew as soon as I made the video, people were going to say that that was my responsibility to identify that. It never even occurred to me that the cat could have been spayed beforehand. But that's why you pay people. You pay people to do a job and then they don't do the job. It's what I said in that previous video. As a matter of fact, I'll put an up next box right here, right now, so you can watch that video. I was pretty upset. So hope I can inspire you to really think about being humane when you're living your dreams. Thanks for watching.